All right, welcome everybody. It's Susan, and today I have Shannon Brandes on here with us. She's a mental health counselor, and she also has a background in education, nutrition, and physical health too, personal trainer stuff. So she has an office actually in Cape Coral, and she lives in Southwest Florida. She works through her office and also through teleservices, so you can also reach out to her virtually. I asked Shannon to be a guest on the show today to just answer some questions for us about mental health, physical health during this crazy time that we're all going through right now. So, welcome, Shannon. How are you today?
I am great. We are
Awesome.
healthy and doing well.
It looks like you're in a beautiful location there. Is this your house?
This is my house. Yeah, we are. We this is our back lanai, so we have a nice, like, very serene place to just chill out and a good, nice, calm place to be when everybody else is going crazy in the world.
Makes sense. I mean, that has to help, right? Like,
hmm Sure does. I sit out here, and actually with my telehealth services, I sit out here, and this is where I do therapy right now. So.
love it. I actually did a Zoom meeting the other day, and my guest she's like, I'm going to go on my lanai. And she went in her hammock, and I was like, that's too funny. I have a hammock on my lanai too. So we both sat in our hammocks and just, had our chat. It was super relaxing.
Yeah, you need that.
So with, speaking of crazy, it really has been crazy lately. And I'm hearing it from people that are, they're trying to maintain, first of all, their physical health. And then they're like, oh, but I'm kind of feeling like I'm going a little crazy in my mind too, And so what are some things that, people can do that can really help them through this time right now?
Well, I think the first thing is really just being self-aware that now that your life has slowed down, you're starting to realize that, your brain is starting to be more active. You're starting to notice that you have more feelings and emotions than you were paying attention to before, because your life might have been chaotic and hectic because you were running to the store, you're going to work, you're taking care of all these sport things maybe with your kids. And now that we're sitting at home, not being able to do anything, people are like going, oh, I'm very in my mind right now. I'm very in my head. And that's really indicative. And I bring that up first because it's just like a symptom of a bigger problem, where people are just too busy and they're distracted from their thoughts and their feelings at this point. And so now these thoughts and their feelings are starting to come to the forefront of their mind, and we have to cope with those things, right? We have to actually be in our thoughts now. We can't distract ourselves. And, in order to do that, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people get stuck in their head. Some people are very worried, of course, about the virus itself. They're worried for their families. People just might have mental health symptoms and mental health issues that are just going on that are going to create natural anxiety or depression. And so they don't have those go-to things, to distract them. And I think that right now, this self-awareness is such a really good time for people to slow down and actually pay attention to their thoughts. I think one of my biggest suggestions would be to not be afraid of them. Not be afraid of your thoughts, not be afraid of your feelings, because you're supposed to have them. We're not supposed to run away from our feelings and our thoughts. And those are actually, if you have, we'll just say, negative feelings or negative thoughts, those are actually symptoms of like a bigger thing that you should pay attention to. Kind of like, if you were sick, right? If you actually got sick, if you have a fever, well, then you have to pay attention to that fever because that's a symptom of a bigger issue. Well, your feelings and your thoughts are the same thing. And so that's, I guess, my first recommendation is just to make sure that you're actually allowing those thoughts and those feelings in, and not, letting yourself be overwhelmed with them, but just recognizing that they're there and be okay with it.
Okay, before we move further, I do have a couple questions with that because it just even makes me think of myself personally. Like, I'm normally super positive and upbeat, and having all these kind of things, like, sit back and, hey, it's okay to feel sad today or tired today, or whatever pops up, because you're on Facebook. I'm assuming my Facebook feed is like this crazy blend of like hey, you should be learning a new language today and start a new business with all this downtime and all this like, ooh, you should have to do all this. And then there's also the doom and gloom people that have zero positivity that they're sharing. And sometimes it's like, where should I be? And I'm wondering, like, what kind of tips could you give someone? Okay, so you have this feeling or emotion, and yes, allow it, sit with it. Should they be journaling? Should they be meditating? Like, what can they now do with that?
Well, I guess it depends on how much these feelings are creating a problem for you, right? So if they're, if they're becoming so distraught, if you're becoming so distraught with the feelings, then yeah, journaling is a really great way to get out of your head. Sitting down and just allowing any kind of feelings, whether it's positive or negative, to just flow out of you, is a really great way to just get it out. And it's actually one of the number one research proven activities for people to do, because people do sit in their heads, and there's a lot of people out there who do a lot of bottling up of those emotions and what we'd call brooding, which is ruminating and allowing those things to stir up in your mind. And if you allow those to get out on paper, or if you even say it aloud to the air, it doesn't really matter where, as long as you're getting it out, you're going to feel a whole lot better.
Okay.
I mean, other than that, like you were saying earlier, that people are wondering how to exercise, and I mean, there's just so many resources out there via video and even recorded things, as far as being able to do exercises in your home. That's just another huge piece of the puzzle, because when you're exercising, that creates a lot of good chemicals in your brain to kind of detract from the negativity that you're feeling, and it creates a lot of positivity instead.
Right. I concur with that. There's even before all this, there's days where you get up and you're like, I don't feel like doing whatever your typical exercise is. And, then once you do it, you're like, oh, I feel so good. I'm so glad I did it. And the rest of your day usually feels better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, how do you feel about, like, I know like we're all supposed to stay inside, but like, obviously it looks like where you live, you're probably able to get outside. Should people be trying to get outside if the weather permitting and, it's safe to do? Obviously we're not saying with their friends, but just, get the sunshine, the vitamin D, the fresh air.
Absolutely. I mean, as far as mental health goes, you need the vitamin D to make you feel better. So if you're cooped up in your house, you're going to feel more depressed. I mean, I think if we look at research studies from Alaska, some of them, highest suicide rates are up there because they're in constant darkness. It's really cold. People stay inside, and that's really dangerous for your mental health, to stay inside all the time. Besides the fact that the fresh air, you're not going to be, unless you're like in a crowd of people, you're not going to be exposed to a bunch of virus particles. You're walking out there by yourself, walking down the sidewalk, walking down the road, you're creating the good chemicals in your brain, and you're breathing fresh air. And oftentimes what happens when you're exercising is that you're actually breathing deeper. You're getting more air to your brain, which is going to help you function better. You're getting more air to your lungs, which is also going to help your lungs function better, which is something we need if we're going to get our lungs affected. So we need our lungs to be as strong as we possibly can. But so yeah, definitely people need to get out there and walk and be outside, get that vitamin D from the sun. Absolutely. I mean, just be safe and use common sense with being around people.
Right. Definitely use your common sense. I've mostly seen people using their common sense, but they're getting outside, and we're super lucky. We're in South Florida. Some people have, they've been up north, and it's just now finally starting to warm up there where they can actually, go outside more. So
yeah, absolutely. I have actually, part of my telemental health stuff that I do, I actually work with a lot of clients that are in New York City right now. And that's really tough for them because, like you said, the weather's just not been super great. Of course, if everybody in New York City goes outside, then you're going to have a big crowd of people. But people out there are still trying to get out and take walks and do what they can do, to get that exercise. It's a little bit of a different world up there.
Right. Let's talk about just for a minute the social aspect and how that affects our mental health, because I know that that's huge. I follow some different people who talk about like, where people are the healthiest and live the longest and stuff. And a lot of those, are because they have either really close knit families or communities where they're getting these kind of interactions. And right now we have a lot of people that are basically quarantined alone, especially like, maybe in an older person's home or, something like that. And like, that has to be like so troublesome. And, what kind of tips would you maybe give someone like that?
What we're doing right now is a huge thing. I think that the world is starting to become very, very aware of technology and what technology can do to keep us connected. I mean, we were already kind of on that track anyways with the way we contact each other through social media, and our phones and all of that. But just recommending that you do more FaceTime, one-on-one things like this. You might not be in the same room, but it's a whole lot different than talking to somebody over the phone. And so if you have the technology to be able to do that, then I would do it as much as you can possibly do it, especially if you're from a close-knit family and then all of a sudden you're estranged from them and you can't see them. I can definitely relate to that. I don't have family here, but my family's in upstate New York actually. And I'm like, hey, let's jump on a video because I want to see your face.
People's faces right now. Yeah.
And that's a huge piece. I mean, it's really super unfortunate with, people who are in elderly homes. I mean, they have to be able to have that technology. And I hope that somehow, those kinds of care homes can give that access or help the elderly do something like that. But that's got to be very, very tough. I don't have any recommendations for that other than, those healthcare workers trying to help, and socialize more with them.
Right.
And I mean, even if we're out and about, just we're still seeing people. If we're taking a walk, we do still see people and say hello, be social from a distance and say hi.
I was joking yesterday, somebody posted that they're seeing neighbors that they normally don't even communicate with, but now they're seeing them out. And I actually just ran into my next door neighbor who like, yeah, we'll say hi, but we don't really, hang out a lot. And, me and my boys were on our bikes, they were on a walk with their family, and like we passed by and we stop with, again, several feet away, but we're like, how's it going? Just out getting some fresh air, exercise, we had more of an interaction during this than on a typical, day 2 months ago or, longer, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah. I was thinking about how, when somebody tells you that you can't do something, I think everybody does it. And so, everybody's saying, stay inside. And all of a sudden, all the neighbors are out. Everybody's outside.
If there was a meme I saw and it said like, before the coronavirus, and it's the whole family just on their phones or electronic devices in their house. And then it says after they're all out on bikes and at the park. And it's true. We always want what we can't have, right?
Absolutely. And, something to actually just kind of bring hope, which, I think would be really useful is to just make plans for when this is over. Because we need to have a sense of, finality when this thing is over, that this thing is going to end, that we're not going to be stuck inside forever. Making plans with your family or your friends to say, hey, when this is over, let's come back together and let's have, fellowship together, whether or not you're in a church or, just with your family, let's get together and have a family reunion and just make it a big deal. So that way, people do have hope that this is going to end and that we're going to get back together afterwards.
I really like that. I've been seeing that post a lot. Like, what's the first thing you want to do when this is over? And people are like, I want to have a barbecue. I want to go to, go out with my friends. I want to go to a dinner, because all the restaurants we've been away from. So I really like that, just having something to look forward to. It would be nice if we had a date when we could do that, but, we have to, just play that by ear.
Well, and I think one of the biggest issues that, as far as people getting in their head is that, and I see this with people with anxiety, with depression, just with situational problems, is that people feel like these things are permanent.
Mm-hmm.
That your situation, whatever you're in right now, is going to last forever. And if you could just tweak that little piece of your perception, you could see that this isn't going to last forever. It could be a couple of months, even if it was 6 months, it's still not forever, right? You can get through 1 month, 2 months, 6 months doing this. And then you have, you know, a light at the end of the tunnel to say, this will be over and we'll be back to where we were.
I like that a lot. Like I'm big into the law of attraction and manifestation and stuff. So like just even thinking or writing about, you know, what this looks like moving out of it instead of just focusing so much on what we're in right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I know you have a background with nutrition and stuff. Personally, are you taking any extra supplements, change your diet at all? What would you kind of recommend, easy things that people can do just to kind of boost their immunity during this time?
Yeah, it's a really huge, important piece to me. And I really stress that with my clients a lot. Thankfully, about a year ago, I ended up working with like a nutritional doctor, essentially, who put me on a plan to help with some physical issues that I was having. I've always eaten pretty natural and holistically anyways, but this specific doctor put me on a track where, you know, he reduced any kind of inflammation that I had, which I thought I was already doing, but did it even more.
Wow.
And, you know, I eat just basically proteins and vegetables. That's kind of my diet, you know. But what I've learned over this time, which is, you know, relevant to what we're speaking about right now, is that the more you can reduce any kind of inflammation in your body, the better off your immune system is going to be. And what I had read as far as, again, I'm just like a preface here, I'm not a doctor, right? So I'm going off the knowledge that I know. When I was reading an article a couple of days ago about how the virus attacks your body, and then when it attacks your lungs can get very inflamed from this.
Right.
So if you are taking steps to take care of your body and reduce any kind of inflammatory foods that you're eating, then you're going to naturally have a better response to a virus like that. Or any kind of bug that your body might be exposed to. So things that would create inflammation in your body would be sugar, caffeine, any kind of grains. So rice, pastas, well, we'll just say wheat products. What other kind of grains are there? Oats, things like that. So rice, oats, and wheat products. All of those things create inflammation in your body. Alcohol. I know that I could imagine that people are drinking alcohol right now, but this is not the time to do it.
Drink their sorrows away right now. Not good for your health.
Right. And I can understand that you want to have a drink now and again, but it's really a huge inflammatory for your body. And so when we talk about inflammation, you want to steer away from those things. Not only actually do those things cause inflammation in your body, but they also create a lot of inflammation in your brain. Your brain's part of your body. I don't know why we separate the two, but you know, if you've got inflammation in your body, it's going to affect your brain as well.
Right.
And there's a lot of research out there for nutritional psychiatry. If you avoid those types of foods, sugars, caffeines, inflammatory foods like grains and things like that, that it's proven that anxiety and depression will actually decrease by a ton. And I've seen this with my own clients. I have had clients who have had ADD, who have had anxiety, and when they get their diet to where it needs to be, then they're almost symptom-free oftentimes. Another big one to reduce inflammation and just to protect your immune system, to boost it up, would be to drink a ton of water. I know most people hate water and they want to flavor it with this and that, but that's really a huge protective factor for our bodies, to make sure that we're washing out toxins, to flush ourselves out. So I'm still following that diet. I'm still on that. I'm making sure that I'm not inflamed. I'm trying to boost up my immune system as much as possible through nutrition. I am taking supplements only because I was taking supplements for what I was put on about a year ago. Any recommendations for supplements? I can't really say that. Everybody is completely different. What I would say in regards to that would be that you should take care of yourself nutritionally first and make sure you're not eating the stuff that's going to bother your immune system, instead of trying to combat it with pills or other supplements, because it really isn't doing any good when you're just trying to take a pill to fix it.
I love that, because I see so many people that eat fast food, junk food, lots of carbs. And then they're like, but I took my vitamin. And it's like, that's not really going to help you if you're just inputting all this garbage.
Right.
Yeah. But there's not like this magic pill is what you're saying. It's all working together holistically.
Absolutely. And that's how I feel even with psychiatry. I mean, there are some people who definitely need a little bit of medication, maybe to get them a little bit further with some really severely mentally ill people.
Mm-hmm.
But that, like I said, there's more and more research out there to prove that nutrition is actually a better psychiatric medication than anything else. Oftentimes they've found in research that just fixing your nutrition has actually been more effective than some of the antidepressants out there.
Wow.
On top of that, putting exercise into it as well, that's even a further boost. So there's so many ways to heal yourself holistically like that.
I love that. So if somebody were to, be looking for some help like that you can offer with, the mental health, and I know that you look at things holistically. That would be something you could walk them through, you look at their whole lifestyle, not just what's in their mind.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. The name of my business, which I don't really advertise it that way, but it's called Balance Becomes You. And so my whole idea behind that is, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, mental wellness, it all is connected together. And if one is off, they're all going to be off.
Right. So mind, body, soul, even. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to put out there as far as anything going on right now, what you would, share with people before we close off today?
I guess, one of the things that I was thinking about before this interview was that, we've watched the media blow a lot of things up, right? And I'm not saying that they're blowing up the numbers or anything to make this virus look worse than it is, but I do feel like the media definitely scares people more, than not. There's not a lot of comfort in the media. And one thing, for people who get really scared and have this anxiety and stuck in their head, I would really suggest staying away from the media.
Okay. Maybe detox media.
Absolutely. Yeah. I find that more people, even just when things aren't even going on like this, people who watch the news tend to be more negative. People who are jumping on social media have more depression and more anxiety. And so really staying away as much as you can from the media is going to be a really good first step to getting out of your head. If you're scared about the coronavirus, educate yourself and bring in facts, right? The facts that you need to survive, to help your family, to, move forward, but try not to expose yourself so much to it. Limit yourself. And then two, on top of that, oftentimes, if you feel a lot of anxiety and depression, sometimes what you're doing in your own mind is catastrophizing the situation. Of course, with the media out there, it doesn't really help, which is why you want to stay away from it. And catastrophizing just means that you're making something way bigger in your head than it needs to be. And that's one thing that I really work on with my clients is decatastrophizing and bringing those thoughts and feelings down to a logical level, where you can think about it clearly, logically, and not without so much emotion and thinking it's the end of the world. So so staying away from the media as much as you can, getting out, away from social media, and then just really working on not catastrophizing the things that are going on right now.
I love that advice. And I've actually seen some people post something, similar, like I'm limiting myself to 20-minute check-in on, either I'm watching a press conference or there's a certain station that maybe hasn't made it so much hysteria that I'm just going to check in with one source, because with social media and all the mainstream media and everything else out there, you can look at it 24/7. Like, it's not like back in the old days where we had 3 TV stations and, there wasn't constant, but this is like constant what we have now.
Right. It's a constant feed of negativity is what I see. And again, research has shown that there is more depression and anxiety throughout, in the US, we're actually like the leading country out of the world with anxiety and depression rates. And some of that is based on the social media and just regular media and the negativity that's always spewed out there. I put my 2 cents in for nutrition too, because that's another huge reason why the US is up there with anxiety and depression, because our nutrition is so terrible. But that's another, I can go into that.
Well, so speaking of that, so I would love to get together again and maybe do a live where people can ask some questions. Would that be something we can set up?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely reach out for that. And I super appreciate you taking the time with me this morning, because I think it's going to help a lot of people right now.
I hope so. I hope so. And I'm definitely out there to help people and, see people through this time and any other time that they got going on in their life. Yeah.
Appreciate it. What's the best way that someone could reach you?
2 ways. Well, probably 3 ways actually. There's my telephone number, my direct number, my cell phone is my business phone. So you can reach me all the time there. My direct number is 239-227-8622. Or you can reach me at, if you look on psychologytoday.com, you can find me there, Shannon Brandes in Cape Coral. So that's psychologytoday.com. Or you can email me directly. I wish I could write it out for you, but it's sbrandes, SBRANDES at balancebecomesyou.com.
Okay.
So awesome. Three ways.
I will type all of that when I post this video as well, so that I can make sure people can get in touch with you. But again, well, you have a lovely day. It looks like you're set up for one, and I appreciate it. And we will get back together to do another like Q&A type of scenario.
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.